but she was really, 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 really lovely. But it was my fault because I pushed to get married early because I felt inadequate and insecure and like I wasn't enough. And that if I was married to her, that I would somehow be a better person and more important. And that put her under an unnecessary amount of pressure and strain. And then when she was unable, as a very young woman, like she was 25 or 26, she was young herself there, she couldn't fulfill those obligations because she was, quite rightly, one might argue, certainly from a materialist and humanistic and celebrity-oriented perspective, pursuing her dream.
Russell Brand just handed the internet a headline it could not ignore. In a new interview, he didn't blame fame, pressure, or even Katy Perry for the collapse of their marriage. He blamed himself. Brand said he pushed to get married early because he felt inadequate and insecure, and believed being with one of the biggest pop stars on the planet would somehow make him feel more important. And that one confession instantly reopened one of celebrity culture's messiest relationships. But this isn't landing in a vacuum. It's happening while Brand is already under intense scrutiny over serious criminal charges in the UK, and while every public comment he makes is being dissected online. So what should have been a shocking celebrity reflection has turned into something much bigger. A collision between old romance, fresh admissions, and a legal crisis that still hasn't gone away.
It's been ladies' night tonight, and I just wanted to ask you what you thought about your husband's touching speech about Amy.
I'm proud of him, whatever comes out of his mouth, and sometimes it's very colorful, right? But I think he was right on. I think not only was he providing the beautiful color palette that Amy was as well, and giving hope to anybody out there that felt like they needed hope. So I felt like it was really well-rounded and smart, and that's why I married him, because he's smart and I learned a lot.
And that is exactly what makes this story hit so hard. For years, the Russell and Katy era was sold like a chaotic Hollywood fairy tale. Loud, glamorous, funny, unpredictable, but still weirdly romantic. Publicly, Katy praised him. She laughed about him. She made it seem like the madness was part of the charm. But now Brand is telling the story very differently. According to Brand, the marriage wasn't just about love, it was also about insecurity. He says he saw this huge, glittering symbol of fame and importance and convinced himself that being married to Katy Perry would somehow fix what he felt was missing in himself. That changes the whole tone of the relationship. Because instead of two stars who couldn't make it work, it becomes one person putting impossible emotional pressure on a marriage that was unstable from the start. He also suggested Katy was still very young and fully focused on becoming a global superstar, while he was dealing with his own inner crisis. So the more he talks now, the clearer it sounds. The fairy tale image may have been enormous, but the insecurity was there from day one.
Is that in Europe and in the United Kingdom where I'm from, the age of consent is 16, and I did sleep with a 16-year-old when I was 30. But when I was 30, I was a very different person. I was a lot younger, and I was an immature 30-year-old. Consensual sex, actually, with a variety of people, when there is a strong power differential, as there is when you're a famous man.
But then the story takes a much darker turn. Because in the same media cycle, Brand also openly acknowledged that when he was 30, he had sex with a 16-year-old while pointing to the UK's age of consent. And that one clip is exactly why the internet exploded. It wasn't just that he admitted it, it was the way he framed it. Brand did not stop at legality. He also said that relationships involving a powerful, famous man and much younger women can be exploitative, and he described his own sexual conduct from that period as selfish. So what viewers heard was this strange mix of admission, justification, and partial remorse all at once. For some people, it sounded brutally candid. For others, it sounded like he was trying to morally soften something shocking by wrapping it in legal language. And for your video, this is one of the most important pacing moments. Once this clip lands, the audience immediately understands that this is no longer just about celebrity divorce drama. It becomes about judgment, power, public image, and what Brand's own words may be doing to him in the middle of a much larger crisis.
And back in a London courtroom as new rape and sexual assault charges move forward. This is video just into the newsroom. Brand arriving in court today for a plea hearing. Prosecutors say newly filed charges include 1 count of rape, 1 count of sexual assault involving 2 additional women. Those allegations dating back to 2009. The 50-year-old already facing multiple counts of rape, sexual, and indecent assault from alleged incidents between 1999 and 2005. Now, Brand has pleaded not guilty. The court is now moving the case toward trial.
And that legal reality is exactly why every new Russell Brand clip now hits differently. News reports say he faces additional rape and sexual assault charges from 2 women on top of the earlier counts already filed against him. Public reporting around the case describes allegations stretching from 1999 to 2009. Brand has pleaded not guilty to the charged offenses, and reporting on the case says the anticipated trial timetable moved from June to October 2026. That means the internet is not hearing these comments as random podcast chatter. It is hearing them from a man who is already facing one of the biggest reputational collapses of his career. So even when he's talking about Katy Perry, his words are being filtered through that legal cloud. That is what makes this story so combustible. His emotional confession about marriage, his comments about past sexual conduct, and the criminal case all start blending together in the public mind, whether he wants them to or not.
My mother-in-law is in the audience, so I can't be too rude today, but I want to...
Really?
Yeah. It's never a dull moment, I'll say that. It's kind of like an ongoing episode of I Love Lucy. But that's why I married him, because he's just so hilarious.
Have you married him already?
I mean, that's why I'm marrying him.
And this is why Katy Perry becomes the emotional center of the whole video, even though she is not part of Brand's criminal case. Old clips of Katy laughing about him, praising him, and treating the relationship like this wild but lovable circus suddenly feel very different now that Brand himself says he rushed the marriage out of insecurity. That contrast is pure retention gold. On one side, you have the old public image, glamorous couple, talk show jokes, celebrity chemistry, chaotic romance. On the other side, you have present-day Brand saying he was insecure, selfish, and trying to become more important by attaching himself to someone bigger than him. The audience starts doing the comparison for you. So in editing, lean into that. Keep bouncing between then and now. The more you juxtapose the playful Katy clips with Brand's current language, the stronger the emotional effect becomes. You don't need to over-narrate it. The footage itself tells the story of how dramatically public perception has shifted.
This is probably the old school man in me. I don't even hear the crime there. What happened? I can't even hear where it is. Like someone would have to poke me with a stick. There, that's the bit that's a crime. Oh!
No 20-year-old girl wants another woman rubbing her vag on her face uninvited.
That's the crime.
There it is, Russell.
I got it.
I got it.
Then there is the side drama that makes the whole situation feel even messier. Australian actor Ruby Rose has publicly accused Katy Perry of sexually assaulting her at a Melbourne nightclub more than a decade ago. Perry's representative has strongly denied the accusation, calling it categorically false and dangerous reckless lies. And police in Victoria said they were investigating a reported historical sexual assault. That matters here for one reason. It drags Katy Perry back into a totally separate controversy at the exact same time Russell Brand is already blowing up the headlines with his own comments and legal issues. Brand's response to the allegation only made things louder online. Now, if you want a tighter and safer final edit, you can keep this part short. Treat it as a separate lane of controversy, not as proof of anything, and not as part of the criminal case against Brand. Its value is not legal, it is narrative. It shows that Katy's name is suddenly being pulled into scandal from multiple directions at once.
Katy Perry denies
I didn't handle that marriage very well. I can see in retrospect absolutely what the problem was. In fact, I explained that in the book. What it was
Well, you said you were married to celebrity itself.
I worked it out.
So how so?
Well, because look, when you fall in love with someone, isn't it amazing to be in love?
So when you strip away the celebrity names and the viral headlines, this is the real story. Russell Brand is trying to rewrite the Katy Perry chapter as a story of his own insecurity and failure, but he's doing it while his legal troubles, his own explosive admissions, and fresh online backlash keep dragging his past into the spotlight. That is why this story keeps growing. You have Katy's old praise, Brand's new confession, the fury over the 16-year-old admission, the looming criminal trial, and a separate allegation pulling Katy back into controversy too. It is messy, dramatic, and impossible for the internet to ignore. And the biggest question now isn't whether Russell Brand shocked people, he clearly did. The real question is whether these confessions helped explain his past or only made everything much, much worse.